Hello. So I got my friend on call here. Say hi. So I have been practicing no hitting the base game for a while. I'm sure everyone knows like a lot of scripting goes into this, a lot of like sort of AI or RNG manipulation. So I've had to watch a lot of guides. I've had to do a lot of practice, but I think I'm finally ready. I want to start chronicling like my first few like genuine attempts. So I have to start a new character for this. That other save file is what I stream Shadow of the Erdtree on, of course. So starting as a samurai. Um, so I'm just going to name this no hit attempt number one. Uh, Damn it, I don't have enough room for that. No hit attempt one. There. Um, so yeah, Fanged Imp Ashes for the keepsake. Okay, so we're gonna have to deal with this like the little pop-ups that like let you know information about the world or whatever every time we start a new save file, unfortunately. So this is going to be all bosses, of course, because what else are you going to do? All right. All right. Boss number one of 165. Yeah, obviously. Okay, so that first attempt did not go as planned, unfortunately. I will be keeping track of how many attempts we're on with my character name here. So, listen, if I were to quit at every setback and just not even try again, what kind of gamer would I be, right? Like, and even if it's something as bad as that, I just have to keep going. Like, this isn't about just getting everything right the first time, right? And this isn't about editing it in such a way that it just looks as though I'm some kind of god gamer who can just do it all, right? I want this to be like the actual footage of my first attempts. So here we are back at the Chapel of Anticipation. And here, boss number one of 165. Okay, so that second attempt also did not go precisely the way that I would have preferred, right? But if I get knocked down 10 times and I only stand up nine, what does it even matter? Everything that I had done up till the end, right? If I don't see things through to their conclusion, then well, what were all my efforts really worth, right? All right, we're back at the boss. Number one of 165. Okay, so unfortunately, that attempt was even worse than the last two. However, if you review the footage, attempt number two actually lasted a tad bit longer than attempt one. So this is just kind of a like two steps forward, one step back, right? That's how FromSoft games typically go, in my experience. Like you beat a boss, or your first attempt at a boss, like you get it down to a sliver of its health. Next attempt, you die immediately, and it just keeps going like that till you beat it. We're back here, hey, we'll take them down yet. I'm sure this is the one. All right, number 1 of 165. Totally clean on that one. Not my best work. I'm not gonna make excuses for myself. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things and blame it on whatever else I can. All right, because I'm just not that type of guy. Um, I'm gonna beat this, and I'm gonna do it legitimately. All right, here we are, attempt number 5, boss number 1 of 165. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I, for one, actually did see a lot of promise in that attempt. I think that was a pretty good boss fight compared to these last few. I think my many hours of practice, which I did, are starting to pay off here. So I guess we'll see how this one goes. And here we are, attempt number 6, boss number 1 of 165. Now, a lot of people in my situation here might fixate on the lack of damage done to the boss, but at the end of the day, there are multiple factors to pay attention to in these fights, right? Like, if you're looking strictly at damage done to the boss, then I'm sure most of the fights I have, like, if you were to keep track of each attempt I do on, say like Radagon, if we're just looking at damage done, then the progress I make would go up and down and up and down, I'm sure. But like, we also have to be looking at like, how good am I doing at dodging? Am I getting better at like looking for attack opportunities, right? Um, and we're clearly seeing steady improvements, despite the many hours of practice that aforementioned I have done. That's like, getting better at the game is like, it's an ongoing process. There's no definitive point at which you can say I am now better at the game, right? Like, I've now improved. It continues happening as you continue playing. Anyways, here we are at attempt number 7, boss number 1 of 165. I personally wouldn't really count that attempt, just given that I was like talking during the boss fight and I was like distracted and stuff. Obviously, I still named this one attempt number 8 because, it's not like everyone's going to agree with me on that one. And I think the best way to to not be too controversial, try to make as many people as it can happy is to just keep going with how I've been counting it. Count this as attempt number 8, but I think at the very least, for those who agree with me, you know, there will be something of an asterisk next to the attempt numbers, like just going forward, right? Like from now on. Anyways, here we are, attempt number 8, boss number 1 of 165. Okay, now that one, in stark contrast to the other one, I will fully concede that was on me. I jumped in during a combo. I thought it was over, and it wasn't, and I paid the price. And you know that's how things go sometimes. That's how things go sometimes. Can't win them all. I'm sure it's clear the grafted scion is something of a problem area for me. That was quite the running theme of my all of my practice runs. I definitely struggled more with the grafted scion than probably most other bosses, and that might be, somewhat of a shock, right? That the difficulty certainly ramps up as things go on, but I think just the fact that like it's the first boss, you've just got your starting gear, I've just got my sword and all. And it's also like just sort of a mental thing, right? There's a certain pressure to the first boss. Like once I've gotten into it, I'm into the swing of things, and I'm just knocking out boss after boss as I do, and I've got all my equipment. Things get like pretty easy. Even once the bosses start ramping up, at least in concept. All right, now call me crazy. I know. I think the hitboxes were actually glitching a teensy bit on that one. Listen, classic excuse. I get it. That's like the meme, right? That's what people say whenever they just want to rationalize being bad at the game. But for realsies, for reals of Roonies, that time specifically, I think we might have been running into just a teensy weensy scooch of just a little bit of glitching. And I only say that because my that's something my PC is pretty prone to at times. It can be a pretty glitchy PC. You can look at my Shadow of the Erdtree streams for all the proof you need of that claim. But yeah, attempt number 10, boss number 1 of 165. All right, so I cut out the last few attempts, because they were kind of just more the same. I would argue that I'm making progress, but I'm just still not quite there. So, as much as I do hate to say it, I think it might be best if I skip the grafted scion for now. Obviously, I will have to do an attempt of a no-hit run where I make it past the grafted scion. This won't by any means be like my final no-hit attempt, right? One where I skip the grafted scion, but I think that's just what we should do for like the first one where I make it somewhere, right? Maybe even where I succeed. So yeah, I think it's best if we just skip past this guy just for now. One day, I have no doubt in my mind, I'll make it there, and I can do a legit no hit run attempt where I don't skip him. But for now. So, given that this is, of course, all bosses, we're gonna head down to the Cave of Knowledge, take care of the Soldier of Godric. Sometimes I like to just go through the motions of like all the things they teach you how to do. Of course, I got to be serious this time. All right, man. Okay, Soldier of Godric. Attempt number 11. This is now boss number 1 of 165. And that is more like it, isn't it? And now we can head on down and play the game. All right. And we'll talk to Kali later. Boop. Oh man. Okay. So